Time for hot news on Monday. Welcome back to the hot news stuff that we've got going on. We got to start off with an existential question of the day. We got to do that every time. And today is, if your shirt isn't tucked into your pants, is your pants tucked into your shirt? Or are your pants tucked into your shirt? Is it plural? Pants are a singular entity, plural word. I'm confused. That's another question that we'll have to go down. Anyways, if your shirt isn't tucked into your pants, are your pants tucked into your shirt? I need to know. Regardless of the answer to this question, I do know that my skin is tucked into my clothes. Reece doesn't like the thought of skin tucking. Speaking of skin tucking, before we get into the actual articles and hot news, there's an actual handy website that you can go to, howmuchtoiletpaper.com, so you can see how much toilet paper do you actually need to survive everything that's happening right now. You can do it based on the rolls you have, your toilet visits per day, but there's advanced options for average number of wipes per trip, sheets per wipe, sheets on the roll, people in the household, and then the amount of days that you have to be at the house. So you can check and see how long your toilet supply lasts. It's going to be there. Let us know if you have enough toilet paper down below in the comments. I'm curious. But I'm also curious about everything that's going on in the world right now. Today is going to be a very Voldemort heavy episode. We actually only have one article that relates nothing to Voldemort, and that's just because news over the weekend compiled to the point where everything's just about what's happening out in the world right now and not necessarily about fun tech things. So we'll cover that probably tomorrow. I do have a few interesting tech videos, but in case you want more lighthearted stuff, today's not going to be your episode. So first up is Amazon is going to stop taking orders for some non-essentials in France and Italy, which will probably give us a preview of how things are going to eventually happen here in the United States. This is something that Amazon was already preparing for. They announced last week that they were going to stop accepting non-essential shipments into their warehouses. So things like video games won't be brought into Amazon's warehouses for the foreseeable future, but if it's currently in stock, they will ship that out. However, what's happening now in France in Italy is that non-essential products that are placed with an order will not be shipped out. They are prioritizing only more vital resources. So they're not saying what it is that they're stopping, but they believe that the essentials are groceries, health products, household items, personal cares, industrial goods, scientific products, and pet supplies. So this is a huge escalation, obviously, with people not being able to go out of their houses to actually go to the store and grab stuff. They have been relying on online shopping, and that is being scaled back just because of the sheer volume. Some people need other things more than people need their video games or PC parts or any other non-essential thing that you have. I'm not saying that this is going to happen in the United States or in the rest of the world where there is online delivery, but I am saying it's a huge possibility that this could happen, and we just might want to steel ourselves against that and potentially order some non-essential stuff ahead of time so that you have that, you're ready to go. Maybe don't necessarily count on things like Final Fantasy VII Remake coming in with your next Amazon shipment on April 10th, because Square Enix has also come out and said that they're pretty sure physical copies are going to be delayed, but that's a different story. We're not talking about that right now. We're going to continue on the Amazon talk because we also learned last week that they were planning on hiring 100,000 workers over the next few weeks to help with the increase in demand, and they also announced that they're giving everybody a temporary $2 per hour wage increase. On top of that, they're also going to be implementing a new overtime payment policy, temporary again. However, instead of getting time and a half for any hours worked over 40, it's going to be 2 times pay, and that's on top of that extra $2 per hour, I believe. I haven't found exact confirmation, but I believe it's the wage that they have plus the $2 then doubled for any overtime. So if you were earning $8, now you're at 10, your overtime would be 20, whereas before it would have been 15, but before the $2 wage increase, it would have been 12. Quick maths! In case you could follow my math there. Anyways, Amazon does seem like they're trying to make the best of a bad situation. There's also reports, though, of Amazon workers feeling like they're vulnerable given that they're working in the warehouses because they might be exposed in close quarters to other people who are working with them. So we'll keep track of Amazon and everything that's going on there for the foreseeable future. But we talked about something last week, which was Gamestop was declaring itself an essential business and that they were going to stay open during this pandemic no matter what. Okay, you shut up. GameStop is essential. Video games, we need them. Okay, came out over the weekend that the state of Pennsylvania was going to waive their business licenses so that they couldn't continue to operate. And then on top of that, California issued a stay-at-home order for everybody there, and they closed all of the GameStop stores in California. Well, it came out that they are closing all GameStop stores nationwide after severe public backlash because of the terrible idea that they were an essential business, and they tried to fight on that front. Didn't look good for you, did it, GameStop? Anyways, they're still going to be fulfilling online orders at the moment if they actually can with delivery companies, which might end up shifting over to more essential supplies, but that again is something that's not happening right now. So if you ordered something, this week, you should be able to get it from GameStop online. On top of that, they're also going to be doing curbside pickup, and also Best Buy is going to be implementing that as well. Best Buy announcing that they're closing all of their retail stores to the public nationwide here in the US, and you can do curbside in-store pickup is basically the idea. They were previously limiting it to only 15 people going into each store at a time. However, now they are just waiving that completely. I have heard some reports that you might be able to ask an employee when you get there to go and fetch the stuff for you, but that's not really confirmed. But you can still do the in-store pickup, and you'll pick it up outside of the store rather than in it at this point. And now let's talk about some more developments in Europe regarding internet bandwidth. Obviously, with everybody staying at home, the increase there's a lot of video streaming that's going on. In fact, there's a lot of more video chatting going on, and it's putting a strain on the infrastructure in Europe, supposedly. So because of that, Facebook and Instagram have both committed to downgrading video bit rates in Europe for the time being, making sure that they're not taking up that much tube piping space, trying to take up less. YouTube and Netflix also confirmed that they're going to be dropping their bit rate. Amazon Prime Video also confirming that they're dropping the bit rate, and Disney Plus also saying that they're limiting video quality for its European launch. All of those are fine. The only one I take issue with is Netflix, because people pay extra to get better quality, and if you're reducing their quality for that extra feature that they're paying for, well, then I would see that's an issue, and Netflix should issue refunds. But for Amazon Prime Video, for YouTube, for Disney Plus, either you don't pay for it, or if you do, you're not paying for the necessary resolution. You're paying for one simple service. They don't have breakdowns based on resolution. But again, this bandwidth issue is probably taken up by a lot of new video streaming happening, which includes cinema movies being streamed at home, whereas otherwise they would be in the movie theater. And this coincides with Amazon launching their Prime Video Cinema Hub so that you can watch movies like The Invisible Man as a rental, or Disney Pixar's Onward. You can currently buy that. It will be available on Disney Plus a little bit later. But then also on top of that, I'm saying on top of that a lot, Facebook has said that they've seen a 70% increase in group video calls following people staying home, trying to stay connected with their friends and family. So it's not just video streaming, but also video interfacing. You have public schools doing it. You have people doing it to check up on their family members because they're not allowed to see them in person. There's a lot of stuff that's going on that is increasing the bandwidth and the concurrent users in Europe right now, and will likely hit the United States at some point, and we're seeing the first steps being implemented over in Europe. And then just a few more movie announcements. Paramount has canceled a movie. Never even heard of it. It's called The Lovebirds. It's going straight to Netflix instead of coming out to the theaters. And Sonic the Hedgehog is getting an early digital release. It'll be available on March 31st in case you want to go see the top video game animated movie of all time. But speaking of Netflix and watching stuff, their CG Ghost in the Shell series has finally got a release date. It will be coming out on April 3rd. In case you care to follow Major and the Ghost in the Shell series, well, you only have to wait about a month for that. Then let's talk about Lyft, because they've confirmed that they are not just going to be delivering people in this crisis, which Lyft is obviously a ride-sharing app, but they will be also delivering food and medical supplies during this Voldemort stuff that's going on, making sure that healthcare workers and food is taken care of during this time. So Lyft expanding their business. We talked last week a lot about what Uber was doing, such as canceling certain services, as well as making sure that their employees get paid during this time. Speaking of other companies doing good, Apple has committed to donating 2 million masks to hospitals in the US and Europe, and 95 masks obviously in short supply in hospitals all across the world. This is partly due to the fact that we've never had to go through so many, and also partly due to the fact that there were supply chain disruptions in China previously because of Voldemort, and now those are getting resolved, so it's actually able to be produced for everybody else. But 2 million and 95 masks going to the US, as well as more going to Europe. And just a little bit of bummer news, anybody who couldn't pick up their devices that were in repair with Apple before they shut down all of their stores nationwide, those devices are going to be stuck at the Apple stores until they reopen, which makes sense. You can't just ggopen to go grab somebody's MacBook. That would take a whole bunch of extra steps. So if it shut down, it shut down for good. If you had a repair device in there, you're not gonna get it back right now. You should have picked it up beforehand. But there's some good news in all of this, which is that folding at home, we did a video on this on Saturday. In case you missed it, you can check it out right up there. Folding at home, which has committed its supercomputing resources to help fight Voldemort by protein folding and making sure that it can understand the interaction between the protein and other drugs that could potentially be used as a cure or as a vaccine or as some sort of method of containing everything that's going on. Well, they've announced that they had over 400,000 folders join in the fight, and now they are at 470 petaflops of processing power, which is the top 7 supercomputers in the world combined. Gamers come coming together to make sure that we can make sure that we're fighting Voldemort. And thank you to everybody who watched our video on Saturday. Because of everybody who joined, and I believe we're at roughly 200 members now. We are ranked number 41 in the latest points updated. So we broke the top 100 very easily. Thank you to everybody who's committing their PC resources to fight against Voldemort. It means a lot. PC gamers, good job. Let's continue it. Let's keep it going as much as you can. Obviously, it takes money to make this happen because you're paying for the electricity, but I thank you for everybody who's making a sacrifice to make it happen. Speaking of sacrificing, Ford, GM, and Tesla are sacrificing parts of their factories to produce ventilators, with President Trump giving them the go-ahead to start producing those during this trying time. Speaking of trying time, Google is trying nothing with Google I/O officially canceling the conference. Previously, it was announced that it was only going to be online, but Google, in order to comply with the state of California, has said that they are just canceling it completely, and it's not going to happen in any capacity this year. Whether or not that means that the products that they've been preparing for it will still get announced, not quite sure yet. Hopefully we'll have more information at some point in the future. And then the only non-Voldemort news that I have today is Half-Life Alyx is releasing today. You can preload it. By the time this episode of Hot News comes out, Half-Life Alyx will be officially out, which is the VR version of Half-Life. Not a VR, it's a new game in the series. Anyways, let me know if you've been enjoying it. Leave a comment down below if you have Half-Life Alyx, and if you are enjoying it. If you don't like it, let us know what you think of it down below in the comments. And also, while you're down there, let us know if your shirt isn't tucked into your pants. Are your pants tucked into your shirt? And does it bother you that your skin is tucked into your clothes at all time? Let me know down below in the comments. Hit the like button while you're down there. Get subscribed to UFD Tech to stay up to date on all of our tech-related content. You've just been newsed hotly. You're welcome.